Greetings, Japan fans. Today's show, we are going to look at leader values. Maishu, arigatou gozaimasu, and welcome back to the 9th year of the Leadership Japan series. And I'm your host in Tokyo, Dr. Greg Story, your corporate coaching and training guy committed to your success, president of Dale Carnegie Training Tokyo, Japan, and the 3-time best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery, Japan Business Mastery, and Japan Presentations Mastery. My new book in Japanese, Za Eigyo, is available on Amazon. We are broadcasting around the world from Minato-ku in the center of Tokyo, the leadership capital of Japan. This podcast brings insights, examples, and experience about leading in Japan. And trust me, it is different here. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We are not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcast hosted by Libsyn, who, unlike many other podcast hosts, have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on iTunes. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show. Tuesdays, the Presentations Japan series. Every second Tuesday, the Business Tatsujin no Oshie Show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series. And every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcast Show. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show. And Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. Before we get going, today's handy Japanese phrase is Morning service wa nanji made? Morning service wa nanji made? Now, Japan isn't much of an eat out in the morning for breakfast type of culture, really. But there are certain coffee shops and whatever which have what it calls a morning service. So, toast and whatever, you can go and get that. It's like a set menu. So, again, this is very informal Japanese. We're just inquiring, okay, what time does sort of morning service stop and lunch start? Right, because there'll usually be a crossover somewhere. You've got to try and find out if that is still available as morning service, what they call morning service in Japanese, or it's actually now lunchtime, different menu. So we can ask, Morning service wa nanji made? Morning service wa nanji made? Morning service wa nanji made? Okay, this is episode number 459. Today we're talking about we follow leaders based on their values. Thrusting oneself into leadership positions usually relies on confidence, drive, capability, and ambition. All good stuff. But those are not necessarily the key reasons we follow someone. Of course, if they lack confidence, then they are radioactive and won't command any followship. To take on the accountability of the leader, you need to have that inner drive and ambition to want to position yourself above others. Finally, you have to have the goods. If you are not good at the business, then you lack credibility, especially with smart, competent people. However, these attributes are not enough. The calibration by the team on whether they will follow you has a big values component. We might initially be snowed by the confidence, drive, capability, and ambition, but if we flag the values are not correct, then things fall apart rapidly. We can admire leaders for what they have. They could be physically attractive people, well-dressed and bristling with the accoutrements of power. The big house in a Tony neighborhood, luxury cars, the massively expensive watch, the latest tech gizmos, etc. They may have degrees and qualifications which all point to competence. An American friend of mine introduced me to the power wall. Being an Aussie, I'd never heard of such a thing. The wall was draped with degrees, awards, and more importantly, carefully framed photographs of my friend posing with presidents and assorted captains of industry, it radiated credibility. Also, there does seem to be a direct correlation between height and leadership, and many leaders are tall people. They have a physical presence which commands respect. I once worked for the leader of a large international organization who was very tall and impressive, at least until he opened his mouth. I reflected later that he probably got that job based on altitude rather than aptitude. We could also be impressed by what leaders do. They gain our respect because they are excellent artists, lawyers, architects, salespeople, scientists, engineers, academics, authors, doctors, etc. They have mastered their art and really know what they are doing. They have the depths of experience, the ideas, the insights, and the analytic ability to see what others cannot. They solve problems, innovate, and create new possibilities. They are hard workers, relentlessly toiling away, sacrificing, persevering, and toughing it out when things get ugly. They are workers, and at a higher level of quality. They are good at what they do, and we acknowledge that. Find out more. We come back from the break. Our show today is brought to you by our public programs, but we also do custom-made in-house classes. Now, we do them in our super safe classroom, we do them live online, and we do them in Japanese, and we do them in English. Today's show is being brought to you by, on the 21st and 22nd of April, we'll have our high impact presentations course. On the 23rd, we have our professional ongoing education series. On the 13th of May, we're doing course previews, and on the 18th of May, we're doing the Dale Carnegie course. Our website is www.dale, D-A-L-E hyphen Carnegie, C-A-R-N-E-G-I-E .co.jp. You can email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. If you like learning by watching videos, then we have over 1,000 for you there at Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. Get my best-selling books, Japan Sales Mastery, the Bible for Selling in Japan, and Japan Business Mastery, as well as my new book, Japan Presentations Mastery. If you like learning by watching videos, we have over 1,000 for you there on Japan Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. We release 3 TV shows every week on YouTube. The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show, that's a premier business show in Japan, comes out Mondays. Fridays we have Japan Business Mastery Show. Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews, where I interview leaders in Japan from SMEs all the way up to the corporate captains of industry on one topic, leading in Japan. Every second Thursday, we release the Business Pro Television Show. Don't forget, you can email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. Welcome back. Ultimately, though, we begin to peel back the layers and we're exposed to who they really are. The leadership honeymoon is over, and the daily grind wears down their facades. Our terribly tall boss example before is a classic case. He spruiked the buzzwords, the acronyms of the insider, was a good storyteller, and oozed authority. It became obvious, though, that his value orientation was all about him and his glorious career rather than the people in the organization. This grabbing the brass ring, climbing the greasy pole stuff is very common with ambitious leaders who use that drive to make up for their fundamental values deficit in key areas. They are not binary, have values or no values. They're from flawed people who have some good values but also lack other important values. We have politicians in politics, but we also have a good coverage of politicians in business too. They are adept at sucking up to their bosses and climbing over the bodies of rivals to get the big job. When you realize you are a pawn in their game of business and here to be sacrificed for their personal greater good, the sheen comes off very quickly. They suddenly don't seem so tall, or well-dressed, or smart. So as a leader, who are you really? When we strip off all of the braid and epaulets, what is left? What do you stand for? Are you actually following the values you proclaim for yourself? This is a common weakness where leadership becomes do as I say, not as I do. Walking the talk is all about trust, and our followers are all ninja-level boss watchers, observing us with tremendous scrutiny. They can determine our mood at 1,000 paces. We are constantly being scanned for contradictions between what we say and what we actually do in business. Having a core set of correct values, which we follow religiously and defend rigorously, is a starting point for gaining real followership. If there's no trust, then cars, competencies, and power walls all collapse as support for our leader authority. Can I trust you, and really trust you at your most deep level, is the central question followers are constantly striving to get an answer to. So, how do you shape up? Thank you for joining the Leadership Japan series. If you found the program useful, then share it with your family, friends, and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. Take what you found valuable, immediately put into action, because idea application is what makes winners winners. Be one of them. Remember, I'm your corporate coaching and training guy in your corner, committed to your success here in Nippon.